Remember that amazing little cafe you discovered last summer? Or that perfect hiking spot you heard about? With the Overlook mobile app, you can create personalized lists of places you've been and want to go, and always see everything on a map. Share your favorite hidden gems with friends and family, or keep your secret spots private for you. The best part? No ads cluttering your lists, and no one selling your interests or travel data. Download the free app at overlookmaps.com and check out overlookmaps.com/Nashville to see some CityCast lists on a map and in your pocket. Overlookmaps.com. Collect and share the places that matter to you. Today on CityCast Nashville, pack a picnic and bring the whole family out to Musicians Corner at Centennial Park. Kicking off this weekend with the free 3-day festival and continuing on every single Friday in the month of September. Today, I am chatting with executive producer Justin Branham about what's in store. It's Thursday, August 28th. I'm your host, Marie Cecile Anderson, and this is what Nashville's talking about. Musicians Corner was inspired by London's Hyde Park Speakers Corner.
That's right.
Who took that idea and ran with it?
We're a program of Centennial Park Conservancy, which is a nonprofit organization that supports the park and the Parthenon. And a board member way back in the day went to London and experienced Speakers Corner. If you're not familiar with Speakers Corner, it's sort of a corner in the park. I've been there. I visited. I was like expecting like a stage and like something nice. There's literally nothing. Like they just set up a literal soapbox and people gather, and it's sort of a place for free speech. So a lot of poets, a lot of philosophers, a lot of just sort of like ideas being spoken. And it's become sort of this community event that's been happening for years and years and years. And a lot of famous people have actually spoken there throughout the years. And so this board member, they got to experience it and learned about it. And they're like, you know what? We're Music City. We should have something like this for music. The initial idea for Musicians Corner was really this very small grassroots busking style event. It had a very small stage, but it did have a stage, and attendance was pretty small, but it was a fun community event, and I got to experience it in its first year and was blown away by it, and it was why I wanted to get involved.
Well, what I love is also just people watching the other musicians who come to support the musicians on stage. Like Casey Musgraves, one of the times I went a couple years ago, she came out and it was just sitting on a blanket right next to us, just watching the bands play. And I mean, I've noticed other, not only musicians, but council members, the mayor, like it really is a seen and be seen type of thing. The whole community comes out to support each other, which again makes it so magical.
For sure. One of my favorite stories of all time is one time Robert Plant, the lead singer of Led Zeppelin, got kicked out of backstage because he didn't have a pass.
Oh, no.
He came out to see an artist. He wound up backstage and it was dark. And somehow a few people got backstage that didn't have passes. And so they all got kicked out and he kind of got lumped into it. And by the time word got to me, I was like, you kicked out who?
Oh, my God.
But you're right.
That's how security is. You guys do security very well there.
That's right. I mean, you kind of have to, but
yeah.
Oh, man.
Sorry, Mr. Plant.
That's right.
You have to leave. All right. Well, so growing up here in Nashville, we had Dancing in the District. And then when that ended, we had Live on the Green that carried the torch. But Justin, how on earth are you able to keep Musicians Corner going for free in this economy?
Honestly, that's a great question. Sometimes I'm not even sure how we keep it afloat myself. It's really hard, especially since the pandemic. But our primary funding sources come from event revenue. So when you come to the events, every time you buy a drink from the pub, every time you buy a t-shirt, every time you shop from our vendors and food trucks, you're helping support the free program. We also take donations on site, and people can make donations on our website. And then we're a nonprofit. We're a program of Centennial Park Conservancy, and we apply for grants. So it's partially grant funded. And then there's, of course, corporate sponsorships as well.
It's wild that you're able to keep it free, but then have such huge musicians coming to town. Are you able to pay the musicians, or are they volunteering their time and talent?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that. I think a lot of people have this perception that everyone's volunteering their time to play, but we pride ourselves in paying every single artist that plays our stage. And the majority of the artists, I would say, are getting a fair market value for their performance. So we look at their show history and look at comps to make sure that we're paying artists fairly so that we can support the artists that make Nashville Music City and call Music City home. Every once in a while, we'll get a huge artist that we could never afford who just loves the program and loves the idea of doing a free public show. And so sometimes they'll come and they'll help us out. So like last year, Vince Gill helped us celebrate our 15th anniversary. And I don't think we could afford Vince Gill if we tried. But he dropped by and did like a 3-song set. And, you know, some of those guest performances might be a time where an artist isn't necessarily paid market value, but every other instance they are. And that's something that we really pride ourselves in.
Yeah, you've had some huge names. I've noticed like Chris Stapleton perform there in the past, Margot Price. What makes them want to perform at Musicians Corner?
I do think that there is something just magical about a free community concert series, particularly in Music City. I think sometimes we forget there are people that call Nashville home that don't really have access to live music, which sounds kind of weird, but I think there's age restrictions that keep people from experiencing music. There's cost restrictions, childcare. And I think one of the special things about Musicians Corner is it exists for everyone. So it's family friendly. We have daytime shows so people can come during the day, people of all ages. There's a kids area so you can bring your kids along as well. No need for babysitters. It's sort of eliminating all the barriers that would otherwise allow someone to experience live music. And the fact that we get to do it in Centennial Park, which is sort of our city's central park that brings everyone together, people from all neighborhoods, people from outside of Nashville who are visiting, it's sort of a melting pot of everyone that makes Nashville a great place to live.
And you can bring your dogs.
Yeah. I forgot that. You can bring your dogs too.
It's such a magical place. I've been going for years, and I love to just bring a blanket, bring some snacks, and then grab a bigger meal from one of the food trucks.
That's right.
And the beer that's offered. It's always just a crisp, cold beer on a hot day. I mean, come on. You couldn't ask for anything more, truly. And then you all are about to have a free fest. It's a 3-day music festival, August 29th through the 31st. How is this different from your usual program?
This is one of the rare times where we partner with someone to book the lineup. And we've been close friends with Lightning 100 since Musicians Corner started 16 years ago. And they've been a close media partner the entire step of the way. And we've always had this sort of conversation when we would hang out. It's like, when are we going to do something together? And it just never really made sense with Live on the Green and Musicians Corner. There's just too much going on. And last year, it became apparent that Live on the Green wasn't going to happen. And it seemed like the right time for us to partner. So I book the Free Fest lineup with Dan Buckley, Lieutenant Dan, who's the program director over at Lightning 100. And we also get all of the on-air talent sort of involved as well, because they all have great taste. They all have great artist connections as well. And also this year, we're going to do some free giveaways. We're really going to lean into the Free Fest idea. So keep an eye out for that. We'll be announcing some giveaways that we'll be doing at each event as well, where there's more opportunities to get free stuff other than just free live music.
And then the musicians that you're booking for this Free Fest, are they all local, or do these musicians come from all over the country or world to perform?
The majority of them are local, but we do have a few that are traveling in. One thing that they all have in common is deep ties with Lightning 100. So they're all artists that you would hear on the radio listening to Lightning 100.
And then you all have also partnered with Amazon. Some people have conflicting opinions about that corporation, but that must be pretty exciting for y'all, especially since Amazon is here in Nashville.
Totally. Amazon is a presenting sponsor of the event. And, like how we touched on just a bit ago, it's increasingly hard to put on free events in Nashville. And being a community concert series, that means a community for everyone that calls Nashville home. And Amazon's in Nashville. They're part of our community. So you know what? It's great to be able to include them. And we also are grateful for their financial support to help make this a free possibility for people in Nashville to come see free live music.
Well, so I'm super excited about the fall lineup. You have 38 artists being featured across multiple genres. Are you putting out offers to the artists, or are they allowed to, apply to be an artist?
It's a little bit of a mixed bag. We take artist submissions on our website so anyone can apply. And I love that aspect of it because some people will apply that, I wouldn't have found otherwise. So if anyone's ever interested in playing, I highly recommend that you go on our website, musicianscorner.com, and apply. But also, I'm just an avid music fan. So I'm really always listening to the radio, to streaming platforms, going to shows locally as well.
Well, which artists on this fall's lineup are you most excited about then?
Ooh, there's so many good ones. I'm really excited for Yola, who's playing Free Fest, which will kick things off on Labor Day weekend. She's someone that's been on my radar for a while and just like an incredible powerhouse vocalist. And I'm really excited to see her perform. She kind of does like this throwback soul R&B. It's really cool. When she first came on the scene, Dan Auerbach from the Black Keys was producing her. And so she's got a little bit of like this cool, like throwback bluesy sound as well. It's really cool.
Are there any hidden gem artists you think more people should come out for?
A lot, actually. It's corny to say this, but the majority, like if you come right at the beginning of the event, usually like the first artist or two are always a hidden gem. And like I highly recommend people come early to the shows because those are sort of the artists that I'm hoping like by next year we won't be able to afford. On the Free Fest lineup, there's this guy, Benny G, who is super young, but has like this incredible soulful voice paired with like indie rock. The Magi is a band that I really like, who's also playing Free Fest. They've got such a fusion of like rock and hip hop and R&B. They're really cool.
Well, September 12th features a special Americana Fest partnership. Can you tell us about that and what to expect?
Americana Fest has been another close friend of ours for a long time who we've partnered with year after year. And the majority of their official showcases require a festival pass or a ticket fee to get in. And Musicians Corner is one of the rare opportunities that someone gets to experience a free Americana Fest showcase. And it's one of my favorite times of the year because we get sort of our typical Nashville community audience, but we also get people from all over the world, like literally all over the world. A lot of people from outside of the US even. So it's kind of fun to just like have such a mix of people all enjoying Americana music together. And this year we're partnering with Lachlan Strings, who does these incredible string ensembles where they have featured guests come and perform their songs with the string ensemble. And some of those guests this year are going to be Amanda Shires, who's amazing, the band Lula, Esther Rose, who I love, Casey Hill. You asked about hidden gems. One on the lineup is during Americana Fest. Kicking things off that day is the Carlisle Family Band. And that's the same Carlisle as Brandy Carlisle. It's Brandy's brother and his son and daughter, so niece and nephew. It's like bluegrass. They're like picking, singing together harmonies.
Wow. Do we think Brandy herself will be there?
I hear she's going to be in town, so I wouldn't rule it out, but I don't necessarily want to start rumors or anything.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, but you better just come on down and see if she's there.
Never hurts to just show up early that day.
Well, CityCast Nashville will actually be there at Free Fest on August 31st tabling. So folks at home, come on out, come say hi to us. And if somebody wants to come see us, but they've never been to Musicians Corner, what do they need to know? And how would you describe the perfect experience for these people who have never joined? Where do they park?
Well, there is always street parking nearby. There's some limited parking within Centennial Park itself. And so you can generally find parking as long as you are ready to look. To have the best experience, just make a day of it. Like, don't rush the experience. Come, like, have a leisurely time and hang out. It's free and there's plenty to eat. We always have a big assortment of food. I think there's typically 8 or more food vendors on site. There's a lot of ethnic food too, so you can kind of eat around the globe, which is fun. Maybe you'll find hot chicken or some barbecue, some good Southern food. Our pub has anything you might want to drink. We even have non-alcoholic options as well, mocktails. We've got a local sparkling water, Maypop, which is really delicious. Especially if the weather's nice. I mean, it's kind of a good all-day hang. There's lots of shade. You can bring a blanket, lawn chairs, and there's vendors on site as well, so you can do a little shopping if you're into that. All the vendors are local, making handmade goods, so a lot of cool stuff as well. If you want to bring the family along, you don't have to sit at the stage all day listening to music. You can let your kids get their wiggles out over in the Kidsville area, which is really nice.
I want to say like move over Central Park, because it seems like Centennial Park is thriving. Have you noticed through the years, I used to go to I think it was ballet when I was 5 years old in the park at the Metro Performing Arts Center. And then we would go and like play around the Parthenon as kids and just playing tag and stuff. It's always been such a special place. But how have you seen people's relationships with Centennial Park change over the years?
I think the most obvious thing is visiting the park, you just see way more people than you used to. When I first moved to Nashville, it kind of blew me away that there was this big, beautiful urban oasis that wasn't really being utilized, I think, to its full capacity. And I think now you go there and it's just always vibrant with tons of people. And not necessarily like in an overcrowded way by any means, but people are really enjoying it. And I think it's becoming, as Nashville grows, some people's only access to nature. As we continue to revitalize it and continue to make the park better, we're also making it more accessible for all people. And I think that plays a big part as well. If you've been in Nashville for a while, you've probably seen construction and changes happening in the park. And our organization is really closely involved in that. So Phase 1 included unearthing a natural spring that was in the park that had been covered up called Cockrell Spring, which is in the front of the park off of West End, as well as a permanent home for Musicians Corner, the Musicians Corner Amphitheater. It used to just be a field, and now there's some stone seating and walking paths and lights. And then the second phase was the Great Lawn in front of the Parthenon. Got a huge facelift, which has made it more conducive for sports, for events, and also just made it really beautiful. But the third phase is getting ready to start, which is going to include a new events pavilion, which is going to be right on Lake Watauga across from the Parthenon, which will be beautiful. And we're also rehabbing a croquet shelter from, I think, the 50s. It's an old building that hasn't really been used all that much, but we're bringing it back to life, and we're going to have a cafe there. So now park visitors will have a place where they can have lunch, grab a bite to eat, get some coffee, get a snack.
And for the Swifties out there, we have the Taylor Swift bench.
That's right.
Thank
you can always
you.
come get a photo.
I love that. I want to know more about the Centennial Park Conservancy. So obviously y'all do so many festivals and events all year long. Can you tell us more about what you do? And maybe somebody is listening right now and wants to support you. How could they do that as well?
Someone can learn about the full scope of our work at conservancyonline.com. On our website, you'll see the full calendar of the events that we offer. And aside from Musicians Corner, it also includes Nashville Earth Day, which is our city's official Earth Day celebration that takes place in April. We also have Kidsville Family Festival, which is also coming up this fall, the last Saturday in September. It's the only free festival for kids that I know of that exists in Nashville. So think Musicians Corner, but if everything was geared towards kids, plus inflatable games, plus face painting, plus mascots, character meet and greets. There'd be like princesses there to like take pictures for kids.
Yes!
So it's a super fun event, completely geared towards kids and their families. Kidsville is also at the Parthenon most Saturdays. It's a rare opportunity for families to be able to get into the Parthenon for free. And there's story time, arts and crafts, games that they get to play at the Parthenon at the feet of Athena, which is really cool. In addition to that, Centennial Park Conservancy funds art exhibits that take place in the Parthenon. as well. There's a really cool Alan LaQuire exhibit that's happening right now. He's the artist that created the Athena statue inside of the Parthenon.
So what's your dream event that you hope to host in maybe the next 5 years?
Oh, man. You might expect me to say like a big grandiose event, but like what excites me more are some of these like small, more regular events that happen. I am someone that loves travel, and one memory that I always come back to is being in Brussels. And we wandered into this beautiful city park, and there was like a small little cafe where you could get a bite to eat. And there was someone DJing, playing like vinyl records, like old, like soul albums. And I remember just like sitting in a public park, enjoying some food, listening to this DJ and being like, this is awesome. Like the fact that there's just sort of like this constant programming, and it's nothing that elaborate, but to be able to have more spaces like that where you can do small scale events without a lot of infrastructure necessary to set up really excites me. Just kind of like cool, vibey stuff happening all the time.
Check out Musicians Corner. We have the Free Fest coming up this fall, as well as all these amazing musicians for the next 5 weeks. So, Justin, thanks again for joining us.
Of course, thanks for having me.
That's all for today here on CityCast Nashville. See y'all at Musicians Corner. And don't forget, you can support this show and get great perks by becoming a CityCast Nashville neighbor at membership.citycast.fm. If you enjoyed the show, why not tell your friends, rate the show, leave us a review, and subscribe to our Hey Nashville newsletter. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. Toodles.